come up with the thing. So yes, we are live. And good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in our beautiful world. Welcome to today's Shining the Light on our community conversation. And with me today, I have the beautiful and the amazing Tiffany West, who's joining us to have a very interesting conversation. Something that I feel so important, Tiffany, is about the key to mental and emotional freedom. So first of all, thank you ever so much for joining us. It is a real honour that you've come and chatted today. Let me introduce you a little bit to all our listeners. So you're the proud founder and creator of the Interior Health Design, an inner wellness life coaching company. Wow, definitely want to know about that. That promotes peaceful living and soul-based healing from the inside out. You're also an emotional care coach, helping women to thrive eternally and stay grounded under all the stress of living, which is, again, it's such an important thing in today's world. It's little bit stressful out there, a little bit chaotic, which definitely has, just a little bit, which definitely has such a big part in our emotional and mental health and things. So love the conversation, love to get to know you. And like I said, welcome.
Thank you, Sophia. I'm so honored to be here.
Let's start, Tiffany, by finding out about you. Tell us about your journey and how you were guided, or, your passion to create what you're doing now and to follow that passion, that purpose of what you're doing now.
Yeah, what a journey it's been. And little do I know, it started from the time I was born, right? Time I was an embryo. I was born a very sensitive, highly sensitive soul. For all you empaths and intuitives out there, I feel you deeply. And I was very misunderstood as a child. I had parents who were unaware of highly sensitive people. That term wasn't even a thing back then. And I just was not able to feel safe enough to feel my emotions, express my emotions, explore my emotions. And so I was taught at a very young age that I was too much, I was too sensitive, and it was something that I needed to keep down and just be strong and push through and just really disconnect from who I was is ultimately what happened. So going into my teenage years and my early 20s, I just experienced a lot of discord because I wasn't connected to myself. Started off in symptoms like me partying, right, in the name of having fun, but self-medicating and drinking and smoking and hanging out with the wrong crowd. And then that led to chronic health issues as I got older. So in my early 30s, I started to experience tons of chronic health issues, way too much at such an early age. Doctors weren't sure about how to help me. I spent a good 10 years or so really looking for answers, looking for healing, looking for somebody to fix me on the outside. And I just felt like the system kind of failed me in that sense. And it took me in a very dark, defeated place of just not knowing what else to do. So I started to look in, and I got certified to be a health coach, and I started working on my diet and exercise and greenerizing my environment. And that was amazing. And it worked for a while. And then I still noticed that I still just was not quite feeling good, feeling right on the inside, and I just continued my journey. Then I tried the whole mindset work and affirming myself out of everything and mantras and meditating, and all that stuff is lovely, but it just wasn't getting through to helping me feel good on the inside. And that's when I really became interested in emotional care, and I started life coaching and helping my clients push past their limits because I was learning that there's more going on underneath the hood. And I started researching the impact of unresolved emotion, emotional childhood trauma, and physical illness and other symptoms that show up as mental illness and problems in relationship, business, you name it, it ripples out. And that's where I landed in my pot of gold. And that's where I've been ever since, is just really learning and understanding how important it is to take care of our emotional health first. It's foundational. And then we can work on all of our other aspects of health from there. And I've learned that there's an essential sequence to that. And I was just trying to heal myself out of sequence, but it all worked out for the better good. It led me to where I am today. And I'm so grateful to be here sharing my method, sharing what I've done, to what I've learned and what I do to help heal and thrive in the midst of a lot of chaos and stress and uncertainty. So that is my story in a nutshell.
And thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing your story, because it's so inspirational. And I'd just like to take a moment just to really honor you, for sharing that and for being here for the world, basically, for helping people, because I hear you and I really get it. Emotional health really is the foundation. So how many people in our world, and how many times do we hear about, even ourselves in this stressful world and chaotic world that we live in, that I don't have time for my emotions. I don't have time to get sad. I don't have time to get angry. I don't have time to grieve. I don't have. And we push all those emotions down, not realizing the impact that it's going to have on our health.
Yeah, absolutely. And
On
what
our
I hear you
physical
saying
health,
in that, on our physical and mental health and our
yes,
relationships, our finances, our
yes,
work, right? And what I
everything.
also hear you saying, Sophia, is the I don't have time is what I'm learning is the real voice under there is I don't feel safe
Yes,
to feel my emotions. It's not safe
exactly.
to go there, right?
To go there. Yeah. And, so much we might, we have health problems, whatever it might be. We might have weight issues, for example. And so we'll go to the gym, or we'll go on the diet, we'll go on this diet, we'll go on that diet, we'll go on, we'll go to whatever we do to lose the weight. But it's still coming, it's still there. We can't get rid of the weight because we don't realize that it's actually the emotions that
Mm-hmm.
are there for the weight, or whatever it is, whatever the health issues. Because, as you know, I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of our listeners are aware very much that if we manifest a lot of our diseases because of suppressed emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yep. So thank you ever so much, I said, for sharing your journey and for bringing this into the world, our awareness that, it is such a big thing to look after our mental, our physical, all our parts of us is with our emotions. So tell us, Tiffany, where do we start? I mean, it's such a rabbit hole for some people. It's such a minefield. It's like, well, where do we start?
Yeah, that was actually, you took the words right out of my mind on that is why emotional wellness is so overlooked, because it comes across very complicated.
Yes.
People don't want to die. There's no logic. You can't fix your feelings, right? You have to feel them. And that sounds so easy, but there really is an art to that. And I really believe that we start just by becoming aware that we are human beings with emotions and it's okay to have them.
Yes.
We can work on how to feel them after we've really resonated with the acceptance and having compassion for ourselves in the fact that this is normal. We're supposed to feel angry. We're supposed to feel shame. We're supposed to doubt ourselves. Fear can be a very useful emotion, right? Anxiety, all of these emotions that people really don't want to feel, or the opposite. There's positive emotions, joy and happiness and excitement that people still are afraid to feel because they don't want to lose it. They don't want it to go away. And what I want people to really understand is emotions are like a carousel. They're going to come back around and around and around. So, and their energy, it's not something that can harm us, but that energy is meant to move through us. It's supposed to emote and move and be in motion through us. And once we know and can allow that this energy is just coming here to serve us, it doesn't always feel good. And the first thing that I have implemented in a method that I created called the call method, the first place to start is to just simply connect with what it is that you're feeling, not disconnecting by going into your head and trying to figure it out and fix which is what we're very accustomed to in our society. It's a very strong conditioning in our society, so it's not your fault. I've had to unwire years and years and decades of conditioning to understand that disconnecting from myself when I feel something uncomfortable is how it exasperates the trauma, how it can make it worse, how I separate from my truth and myself. So connecting and just noticing and bringing awareness, becoming the observer of, oh, I feel sad, I feel angry. And then when you watch that without getting caught up in the whirlwind of figuring it out, you can then start to show yourself some compassion in this space and just accept that that's what's coming up for you. I think that's the really simple first start. And I think we need simplicity for our brains so that things don't get overly complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yes, because we tend to overcomplicate things, and it's a step-by-step process. So people can, contact you. We are putting the links in the comments below, and you're able to help people work through emotions. And I love it how you talk about, like feeling, not trying to recognize exactly, to think about it, but just to go into the feeling.
And that is a practice. It is an art. So the brain is going to try really hard to keep doing what it's been accustomed to do all your life, and that's to protect you and keep you alive. So our brains are really brilliant and coming in the bat for us, even when it doesn't feel good, even when we're trying to break a habit or do something different. It's natural for our brain to come in on the front line and be like, whoa, I don't know if it's safe to feel this. Let's try to distract. Let's try to do something about it. Let's try to create a problem that we can solve. And I just want you to know that that process in and of itself is extremely normal. And that's what I really guide people through. I'm like an emotional tour guide to help you really explore how you can create safety and calming your brain and understanding, yes, this is the way we've been doing it for a really long time. Thank you for showing up for me and trying to protect me. And I want to invite another way for us to do it that serves us more. And that's kind of the entryway on how I start to help my clients and the people in my community start to create safety around feeling.
Yeah, feeling that, to know that it's safe to feel.
Yes.
Because again, so much in today's world, we, situations that we've experienced especially in our childhood. And as you were saying, as you were growing up and being very, an empath and very sensitive, but you were told not to feel.
I was in trouble. There was a consequence for it, right?
Yeah, yes. So I love it how you, help people to really develop the belief, the not just an attitude, but the knowing, the awareness that it is safe to feel, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Because I know a lot of people within our community, I was talking to someone not only a couple of days ago about, that it's okay to be vulnerable. And when I'm vulnerable and really showing my feelings, it helps other people.
Absolutely. And it takes so much courage and strength to be vulnerable. And so many people have defined vulnerability as a weakness because of the fear behind being exposed, behind those feelings. And I just want to invite people to know that there is a process. So you hear this out there. It's, feel your feelings, or, it's okay to be vulnerable. You see people being vulnerable, but then there can also be like this feeling of inadequacy that you can't do it because it doesn't come that easy for you. I just want you to know that's trauma. And that's just a symptom that there's some unresolved trauma in there, and an opportunity for you to get to go in, connect with yourself in that feeling and your body, because that's where trauma lives. We can't fix it in our heads because it lives in our body. So we really have to go into our body to create that safety. And there is a process. And I think that's why so many people have a hard time connecting that, is because they just don't know how.
Yeah, and totally. So thank you for sharing that. And tell us, Tiffany, what are some of the benefits? Like, how is this whole process that you help other people with, how has that helped your life?
Gosh, I'm so much more in love with who I am without having to add anything onto that. I don't have to perform. I can be very unconditional. I can show up in my life and my relationships and my business with so much more confidence, working less and accomplishing more. I used to work in the corporate America all of my life until 2019 when I pursued my business full time. And it was all about the hustle. It was all about multitasking and doing more and striving for more. And that was my endless pit to get to for success, which burnt me completely out. So I am so proud to say that this method has really helped me calm myself, regulate my nervous system, get in touch with my body and my emotions in a way that feels so reassuring and loving. And I have to say, the main thing that's helped me heal the most is just the self validation, giving myself the validation that it's okay to feel and work through these feelings and not have to know all the answers, and still know that I can manifest and produce the things in my life that I want just by showing up for myself and giving myself that unconditional space to be where I am. And the most valuable thing that I've learned how to do is loving myself and all the versions of me that I don't care for, that I don't like.
Mhm.
Really getting off that wagon of like always trying to strive to be better. I don't see anything wrong with becoming a better version of ourselves, but I also want to honor the version of me that's not there yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? And not push and pull her to be like, it's almost like she's not enough until she
Yes.
can get to this certain benchmark. And I've really released that belief system for myself and that way of showing up for myself. And I'm just as valuable when I'm not the person I want to be as I am when I am the version I want to be. And that has been really key for me in my healing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would be, and I love that. So much we talk about, striving to be the best version of ourselves.
Yes.
Which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with. We do want to grow each and every day, absolutely. But then we forget about who we are now.
Yeah. And can we
Right
love
now in
ourselves
this
before
moment.
we get there? Right.
Exactly. Right now in this moment, because being a better version of ourselves is still in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And our
it's
future is created by how we're resonating at in the present moment.
at the present moment and loving ourselves. I love that. I'm definitely going to be rewatching this. And for everyone who is watching, we do have a few people watching us. Do come back if you want to and watch the replay, or just think about how we can love ourselves now in this very moment. All, as you say, the good, the bad, everything, all the different parts of us, but loving ourselves completely now and feeling that really, really good. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And can I ask you, Tiffany, with your life, with your journey that you've taken to who you are now, what would you say that your superpower is?
My superpower, hands down, is my sensitivity. It is how I'm able to hold space for my clients and create a sense of safety, help them feel calm and regulated and not afraid to be vulnerable. If I wasn't sensitive to their feelings and making sure that I wasn't saying something that was offensive or being any kind of way that made them feel less than who they are or not okay to be who they are, I don't think that I would even have a position in coaching that I have today. So my superpower is absolutely my sensitivity, my intuition, and my ability to empathize with what other human beings are going through and the pain that they're in.
It's so nice, isn't it? Because to have that, because so many people, we're so caught up in ourselves and not feeling our emotions that and this is a generalization. I know there's a lot of people like yourself who are sensitive and feel and hold space for others. But then there's also the other thing is that, when we don't feel our own feelings, then we kind of lost the ability to feel other people's feelings.
We
So
don't
I
know what
just
to do with them.
we don't know what to do. Exactly. So again, I'd just like to honor you, really, really honor you for having that superpower, for having that gift, for recognizing, that you're able to just to hold space for people and to allow them just to feel. And it's such a wonderful ability and so important. So thank you. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you. I know how healing it was for me when I had this best space held, and it was finally modeled that I could do that for myself. I couldn't help but to share that and gift that to other people. So thank you.
Yeah. And if you could tell yourself, if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old version of yourself, the 18-year-old or even younger, if you could go back and give one piece of advice to not just yourself, but all the younger women who are coming up in our world, what would that be?
Be kind to yourself, and how you are now is exactly how you're supposed to be. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a part of your path. It's a part of your growth and transformation journey. And if you can just change and swap out that judgment that you have for yourself and that other people may have for you or that you perceive, and you can swap that out for compassion and curiosity of, versus I shouldn't be feeling this way. I shouldn't be here. I should be further along, and switch that into, ooh, I wonder why I'm feeling this way. I wonder how I can use what I'm going through now to move in the direction that I want to move in, and just soften that approach with yourself. I would just say, just be kind to yourself. You're perfect as you are.
Yeah, just be kind and accept that it's wonderful advice. And I also like how can we use that? How can we use what we're going through, our emotions, our feelings, to really get in touch with those feelings rather than suppressing them and saying, oh no, I can't feel that. But how can we feel it? How can we use it to help us and to help others?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Thank you. Right, and one last question before we do finish up. There's been questions. Is there any question that I could have asked you? And what would be the answer? Is there anything else that you would like to share?
I just want to share everything you asked was beautiful, and thank you. There's not another question that you could have asked other than what my final message would be to the world, or what my vision is. I got asked that today in the summit that I was featured in. And I have to replicate that because it really came from my heart, that just inner peace. It's a thing. We get to choose it every day. And if we can start with ourselves, we look out at the news, we look out at the world, and we see so much chaos, and it creates so much uncertainty and unsettlement and dis-ease internally. And if you can know that you get to choose to create that inner peace in your internal environment, it's all about peace in. And when you can start to feel and vibrate at that energetic level, then there will be peace out over time. It does take time, but just really knowing that you don't have to go out and find peace. It's already here. You just have to choose it every day, and you get to.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much. And it's like you can feel the peace radiating out from you, even though we're on the other side of the world. But, to be able to live a peaceful life no matter what. And as you're saying, that we can get to choose. That is our choice to what we feel. And peace is certainly one of our core, our foundations. Imagine what the world would be if we all chose peace.
Even in the chaos, right?
Even in the chaos. So thank you. And for everyone who's watching the live or the replay, do click on the links below. Do connect with Tiffany, because what you offer, Tiffany, is so valuable to the world, to be able to really look at our emotional health as the foundation before anything else, is such a valuable thing. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone, for listening. It's been my honor, sending you love, light, and peace.